Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. I want to thank everyone here at the EdTech Center, Tad with Engine, and your team at Engine for inviting me to share my experience with everyone. It's truly an honor to be here. As Lisa mentioned, I'll be chatting with you today about remote onboarding for online English classes. I work with the Garces Foundation in Philadelphia. We are a nonprofit co-founded by the Iron Chef, Jose Garces, and Dr. Beatriz Garces. This happened 10 years ago in 2012. And the mission of our organization is to empower Philadelphia's immigrants to fulfill their potential as citizens and enjoy the highest possible quality of life here in the city of Philadelphia. So how are we doing that? We currently have 5 programs that address healthcare, education, and nutrition needs of our community. But for our purposes today, I'm just going to focus on our education programming, specifically the English program, but I'm happy to answer any other questions about those other programs during Q&A or the breakout rooms. So the mission of the English for the Restaurant and Everyday Living program is to support immigrants with the opportunity for advancement in personal and professional lives through English language classes, workforce training, and connections to vital resources. Each quarter, we have more than 100 students in our English classes. We offer morning classes for those that work in the evening, and we offer classes in the evening for folks that just got home from work. So our classes range from the most beginning level all the way up to an advanced book club. And each one of these classes is taught by 1, sometimes 2 dedicated volunteer teachers. Many of them who are students at Penn, Drexel, or Temple, and are required to teach as part of their coursework. So the workshops that I mentioned are for workforce training, are particularly for the restaurant industry. We work with volunteers from local restaurants and with students and their instructors from Drexel University's Culinary Arts program. But our partnership with Engine in the last year has really allowed us to take these workshops to the next level and turn them into courses. And so we now offer a 5-week course on food safety, which I've coined as the prerequisite to taking the ServSafe Food Handler Review course and exam. And our students are able to do that entirely in English as a result of taking that course. We're also offering a 10-week course on the food and beverage industry for learners who currently work in the kitchen, but would like to refine their speaking skills, boost their confidence, and move to the front of the house to work as servers and bartenders. So our students, who are they? We have a very diverse group of students coming from countries in Central and South America. We see most students that obviously working in the service industry, but in the last 5 years or so, we've seen just a much more diverse group of learners in terms of their professions and in terms of their goals for what they want to do here in the United States, which is another great reason to team up with Engine to connect our students to those different possibilities. We have folks that work in construction, manufacturing, education, healthcare, and we have a lot of stay-at-home moms that are planning to return to work, usually to the restaurant, but are exploring different opportunities. About 60 to 65% are usually parents with their children attending area public schools. And our students have proficiency levels ranging anywhere from beginning to high intermediate. But something that has really stood out to me is that 63% of our learners did not finish their high school education in their home country. And one challenge that that we do have is that our learners are working with unpredictable work schedules, and it often causes them to leave classes, but they inevitably return. But it may be a couple of months of not taking classes, but they do come back. So how is our program structured? After trying several different options, we've found a combination of services that work well for us. We use WhatsApp for communication among students, teachers. We use Zoom to connect for classes. And of course, we use Engine for our coursework, requiring that learners are engaged for at least 15 minutes each day, not only completing their assigned lessons, but also exploring topics that interest them and reviewing vocabulary from previous content. And so why do learners choose to take online classes? Please feel free to use the chat to share your experiences. Why are learners choosing to take online classes? This could be something more personal, or perhaps your learners. So it looks like no childcare, accessibility, childcare costs, flexibility, transportation challenges, transportation cost and difficulties, schedule, distance, flexibility, winter. Yes, that's a big one. Feel safer at home, work or family conflicts, transportation, young children. Yes, exactly. These are modesty. Yes. You can turn off your camera. That's a very good point. Yes, these are exactly, these are the same reasons that I'm learning. When I asked our students, this is what I learned: the cost of transportation to school, not only financial, but time. Especially living in a big city, if you're trying to get to the other side of the city during rush hour, that is exhausting. It's convenient for parents, and sometimes the in-person options are just not conducive to our learner schedule. So when I reflected on these answers, I noticed that they were pointing to a major shift in learning culture. Our beginning level English learners are realizing that their lives are busy and that online classes are more accessible than in-person classes are. What I was hoping to hear was that I love learning online, or that technology motivates me to learn. But that's okay. I'm hoping that we can get our learners there so that they are more enthusiastic about learning online as the medium for learning. So for me, the question really becomes, how can we best support our community as this culture of learning evolves out of necessity? What are some things that we can do? And again, please feel free to use the chat to share your ideas. But what can we do to support learners as they realize that I need to be able to use technology if I want to continue learning? What are some things that we can do? Improve our online teaching skills. Yes, absolutely. That's a big one. Advocate for low cost or free internet. Make it approachable. Absolutely. Teach digital literacy. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Front load blended programs with DL support. Lower the barrier of entry. Yes, absolutely. Provide tech devices. Yes, the cost of learning. Even though you are cutting down on cost by providing your transportation, you do need to invest in the devices. Yes, provide internet at home, teach foundations of digital literacy. provide resources, a website of free English resources. Very good. Now, these are all important ideas for how we can support our learners, because this is a big change. And we, of course, would rather have our learners choose to learn online because they enjoy the experience of learning online. But the reality is that for a lot of folks, this is out of necessity. And we have to do our part to help folks so that they can make the most of this, so that they're not feeling like, oh, I would really rather be learning in person, but I have to do it online. So as I'm realizing that we have to support now more than we ever have before, and with a small team, I have to be honest about my reach. But I was surfing through Instagram stories when I saw something that a student had posted about her classes at Garces and using Engine. And it was an unsolicited reflection of her learning that warmed my heart, to say the least. She, for those of you that don't speak Spanish, what she's written is that I love the application we use in my Garces classes. Before, I didn't like it because I didn't understand anything when I arrived to Philadelphia. I was very basic with my English. I only knew hi, thanks, bye, and those kinds of things. So it occurred to me that, wow, we need to connect our new learners with our more experienced learners, and we need to do this more often. We have to create a space for our learners to talk about the progress that they've made, and for them to share how it feels to learn two things at once. And so this student that posted this is now employed by our organization, and she's providing workshops for new learners on how to use Engine, and she provides support based on her experience, and she shares that from a very honest and empathetic point of view. You can see here, she shared, this is what on the phone, on the mobile application, you can review vocabulary that you've seen in previous lessons. And she translated these words into Spanish, and she reviews these from time to time as part of her studies. And so just to give you a basic idea of how our registration process works every 3 months, I've outlined 3 major parts. So the first part is learners register on our website. They complete a form, which is how we get their contact information and learn about what's motivating them to learn English. The second one is that my team and I contact learners over WhatsApp. We send a message and we assist them with downloading Engine and getting started with the exam. And so these are messages back and forth. That way folks can respond whenever they have a chance. So it's not like you have to set aside an hour to do this. It's you complete little pieces over the course of a couple of days. But the key piece to that is that I have a team. It cannot just be me being the person that's constantly connected to WhatsApp to be there to provide technical support. My team and I share that time being connected to communicate with folks. And then the last part is once students have finished that exam, we schedule their class, but the key part is getting a learner connected with one of those experienced students to take a workshop on how to use Engine. And that's where a lot of mentoring takes place, a lot of support. I understand how you feel. I can remember a year ago when I downloaded Engine for the first time and I felt overwhelmed. I was afraid to touch buttons as well. But to be there for students And to have someone that is able to empathize with where they are and where they want to be. And so I'd like to know how, and again, please feel free to use the chat. How do all of you provide remote support to your new learners? How do you communicate, problem solve, troubleshoot any issues that you have with your learners? Does everyone make use of WhatsApp? All right, great. So at highest PA, using WhatsApp, that's great. And Jessica from the Welcoming Center, hi, would like to know more about the logistics of coordinating the IT and onboarding team. Absolutely. Using Remind, WhatsApp or Remind, very good. WhatsApp, images on slides, yes, images. Images are key. So I have here a couple of examples of what we use. Up here, as you can see, just a screenshot of Engine, an arrow pointing to where they're going to find the button they need to press in order to take their exam. Using images, less text. A lot of times I get messages from students that read, my app doesn't work. And it's a very defeated message, right? It's very defeated, but what we talk about is that we have to be specific. Sometimes things don't work, but if you can point to exactly what's not working, if you can send me a screenshot and show me what isn't, then I can help you. And so that's something that we talk about, and it's absolutely a skill that our students learn, and it eventually evolves into a less defeated kind of voice, into a more, I'm taking charge of this. You have to have an IT support team. Like I said before, it can't just be you. You cannot be the one that is connected 24/7 to support folks. You have to empower your students, those that have been with the program, that have stuck through it, that can speak to the time that they've put in and how they've gotten to where they are. And so some of the self-reported outcomes that we've seen from the last year, 95% of our students feel less stress in situations where English is required. 97% feel more confident speaking English at work, and 92% reported feeling more confident helping their kids with schoolwork on the computer, which is something that I'm very proud of. We want our students to feel more confident, problem solving, moving forward using these tools that they've been using.